Опа. Так. Раз все равно делать нехуй, я пока проверю трансляцию. Так. О боже, блядь. Окей. Блин, ты куда-то одновременно и от этого, и от носа убрать, и, блядь, да. Все, заткнись. Надо подождать, пока оно там пройдет, потом уже включить. Как ходить в этой игре? Я пока вот так лучше микрофон отодвину, чтобы он это об нос не ебашился. Так хотя бы не будет вроде слышно, что я дышу носом, а не жопой. Ну что, дверь, ты думаешь, я тебя не вскрою? А чё, в смысле? Окей. Какое-то устройство, древний кассовый аппарат. Так, продолжаем, блядь. В основном военная форма, но есть и парочка более экстравагантных предметов одежды. Так.
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb. Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hjelmdal burning.
Одну секундочку.
In each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hjelmdal burning.
Нормально. Так. Бля, я свое хлебало не услышал. Ладно, окей, нет так нет. Окей, спасибо.
The antlers on the hood of the man's cloak and his piercing blue eyes are familiar.
Понюхать футболку, да.
Smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat there. Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions in the fabric of things.
It's the man from Hendal.
Walking away from his burning village, yes. Huh? Oh, I see. That's tough, man. I feel the same way sometimes. The man from Hjelmdal is the hero of a series of popular books based on a fictional version of Kotla. In fact, most people don't think that man from Hjelmdal ever really existed, but they are wrong.
Hendal isn't a real place.
Neither is the man a real man, of course. But both the man and Hjelmdal are an ontological necessity. But hey, it's not worth getting into an argument about.
Okay.
Wow, what?
I mean, even if the man from Hjelmdal didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has.
Okay.
You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Hjelmdal, and watched northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique and
It's for the best, because Eamdal is not a real place, and thus he could not have gone there.
Спасибо, голос разума.
His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural activity. Interesting.
Чё по футболке, чё по
2
цене?
real.
Блядь, слишком дохуя.
That's dirt cheap.
But why?
Так, либо мент без бабок, либо могу рассчитаться по-другому. Давайте, мне интересен
I
этот вариант.
deal in goods, not services.
Сука, блядь. Ладно, мы еще вернемся. Че там у тебя еще есть? Хитрый ты черт. Без женщины. Надпись на табличке просто Дэй. Ну спасибо, блядь. В темноте крутится кинопроектор. А что у тебя тут?
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty.
Так, давайте начнем с
Big
смотрения.
men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Сука, французы, блядь. Опять они здесь.
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first. Then they wised up and got camouflage.
Ну реально французы.
Which ones? Ah, royalist soldiers from the time of the revolution. The uniforms are painted a bit too brightly, I suppose.
Так, что за
This set of
бомжи?
soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels.
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
Так. Бля, я сейчас оглохну от этого крутящегося говна в моем правом ухе. Бля, ну я думаю, вот этот
Maybe.
Арик. Так, что там по охерительным фигуркам?
Why?
Yeah!
A headless man riding a horse. A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say found.
Че, бля?
Oh, that's the headless phone rider.
Кого, блядь? Чего?
There's been a lot of interest in that particular figurine. I had to hide it so it wouldn't.
He doesn't elaborate on these wrong hands. It's
I've heard about it. I've heard the headless phone rider ride the headless bull.
Yes, there are several competing versions of the story, but I believe this figurine is a more canonical representation. The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend about a man who rides the streets of Revachol sporting a fawn tracksuit. As you see, he's missing his head. 50 cents. Bargain price. I'll throw in the tiny cap too. I think he's looking for it, or
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head.
Бля, слишком все дохуя денег. Спасибо, я воздержусь. Так. Давайте просто с ним перетрем, если получится.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you? I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about
Who are your customers usually?
all kinds of people come through here. Locals, travellers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Да-да-да.
It keeps me entertained.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug, maybe.
Ладно, давайте начнем с того, что он хочет узнать лихача.
Traffic. I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive. Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night. Some kind of powerful electric vortex.
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I didn't really know what to make of it, but I know it meant something.
Так.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
Блять, ну это, конечно, грустно одновременно и смешно. Критический уровень боевого духа. Срочно остановите здоровье. Ай, блять! Твою... Сука, ну стоять.
Despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. Whatever noble intentions you once had as a police officer, it's eating them all up now. You're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up from total annihilation, right?
Yes, it can be difficult to be on the receiving end of so much distrust and outright hatred.
Nothing you can say would make you feel any better now. Cop gives up the detective genre
Eh?
of social realism. Another police officer resigned from the RCM following a nervous breakdown. He now lives under a bridge, drinking and occasionally throwing excrement at passers-by, shouting, "I never loved that woman." When asked to comment, former colleagues objected to the theory that his psychological disintegration was precipitated by his wife leaving him. "It's because the Furrows lost that match," said Captain Ptolemy Price, once the man's superior officer. "It's because he couldn't get a big gun from acquisitions, and anyway, police work really burns you out after a while," Satellite Officer Jean-Vic Mayer, the deranged former cop's partner, commented. Sergeant Mac Torson, another former colleague, did not propose any theories, merely saying, "Whatever happened to him?"
Какого хуя? Так, блять. Чего нахуй? Типа реально? Так, ладно, окей. Проеб засчитан, ладно. Так, окей. Фух. Так, раз тут такой движ, надо сейчас это... подготовиться морально хотя бы. Что у меня вообще с собой есть? Ать. Как... Уй. Так, ладно, хер с тобой, что ты бомж, окей. Так. Давайте для начала все снова осмотрим. Это вроде как помогает в расследовании чутка. Ну, вроде бы. Я хуй знает. Так. Повезло, что я сохранился относительно далеко. Бла-бла-бла.
$2.
Блять.
That's dirt cheap.
But what? I sympathize, I do. But this is a
It's the man from
walking away from his burning the man from
Helmdal isn't a real place.
neither is the
Wow. What?
I mean,
Okay.
you sound beside.
It's for the back. His theory isn't exactly incoherent.
Окей, хуй с тобой. На материалы еще понадобится. Так. Челиков пошли
You see rows
рассматривать.
of toy big men on.
Franco-Nigerian.
They're not all.
This is what the loyalists.
Which ones? Ah,
This set of soldiers.
you're probably. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. Okay. I don't like either set too much, to be honest.
Ай, блядь.
You see rows of toy soldiers. Why? What's this?
Oh, that's the headless phone rider. 50 cents.
He lost his cap.
Все, все, хорошо, хорошо. Давайте уже попиздим с ним. Правда, стоило бы, наверное, сохраниться.
It's not often that What can I do for you? Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods. It keeps me.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug.
Так, вот это.
I'm sorry, officer, but I just don't like it very much. Movement on the road never really gelled well with them. Now that I think,
That sure narrows down.
yeah, it was pretty wild.
Так,
I didn't really know
давайте
what to
попробуем
make of
узнать,
it,
что у
but
него там.
I know it meant something.
Feeling
Bam,
bored
блядь.
and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by a drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Ни хера себе.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
Давайте вкинемся.
Parolidon is just something you know, since the people's piled, I was with the emergency relief brigade. Had to take it for radiation sickness.
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile.
Так, где, блядь? Это чё? Это не то. Это тоже не то. Это уже решено. Хуй хуета. Господи, блядь. Зачем я это делаю, сука? Где мое озарение? Дайте мне озарение, будьте так добры, пожалуйста. Бонжур, ёпта.
So much disappointment and early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up. No one's. Everyone's. A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen? A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive
The people's pile was the type you particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive waste into River Esperance. A primitive nuclear reactor, also called a pile.
Окей, ладно.
Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it after the Commune fell. They wanted a cheap source of energy for Revachol West. Needless to say, things didn't work out. An emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion. Both the faulty design and lack of finances contributed to the catastrophe.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized, tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed with a red drop of blood.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance didn't have the art to let it all. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud, years getting sick. The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk, so I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there, it's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Blah, 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 blah.
Have you tried it before?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved.
Ну, ебать, мы тут пытаемся, сука, по-быстрому раздобыть запрещенный в стране препарат, блядь, да, конечно.
He won't be your knock, but he won't be thrilled about this either.
If you say so, here you go, man.
Ага. Все, блядь, короче, окей, мы выбили из него передолин, ну давай на потом.
I respect your decision, officer. What else can I help you with?
Так, не, про пистолет я точно спрашивать не буду. Пошел
I
ты
doubt
нахуй.
it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors. Indirect modes of taxation.
Прикольно.
Turns out those financial oversight committee gangsters stuffed millions of hard-earned dividends away in the last place anyone thought to look. The hearts and minds of everyday Rivacholians. You need to spread that deregulation gospel to the people. Tell them about that foreign fair tax. Preach that 98% gross burden. Preach it, preacher man. Set the brothers free. Taxes are racist.
Лучший бонус за историю игры. Ультралиберальные варианты в диалогах дают плюс 1 реал. Минус 1 эмпатия. Считает себя дельцом или что-то вроде. Сука. Ну, хотя бы закончил. Так. Так, ну через разведенный мост это нам в среду надо прыгать. А сейчас что вообще за день? Где там у нас? Вот. Опа-на, прикольно. Так. Среда. Среда это, наверное, 3-й день. Хуй знает, сложный вопрос. Так. Что у меня еще есть? А, точно, пойти отпиздить мусорный бак. Ну иди сюда, мусорка ходячая. Так, это не тот. Тык-тык-тык-тык-тык-тык-тык.
This trash container is locked. The
Ah,
sliding
no,
lid
that
has a
is-
padlock that says "Whirling in Rags."
А. Так, ну раз у Гарта, значит Гарту. Все логично. Блять. Все, уйти. Где ж тут вход-то у них? А? Опрос снимается. Стоп, а может я... Ну понятно. Мой проеб, окей.
Can I help you?
Ну, здравствуй, пидор. И тебе варикул здорово. Бла-бла-бла-бла-бла.
Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the...
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
Но мне-то ты можешь доверять, чел. Я не похож ни на бомжа, ни на пьяницу. Дай мне ключ.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access...
Well, yes. Us.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
Callous? What are you? Kras Mazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked.
Krasmazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a historical materialist. He was a leading figure on the Grad side of the Centennial Revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific communism, Mazovian thought, or Mazovianism.
Коммунизм. Типа ты ходишь, пиздишь с людьми и пытаешься раскрыть дело повешенного черта. Ну, это если вкратце. А еще можно умереть от переизбытка эмоций. Ну вот. Наконец-то ты ее увидел хоть где-то. Так.
He killed himself.
О, класс. Хайпово, давайте за косплеем Мазова. Ну, это как книга, только, блять, как игра.
What are we talking about? Was this not about the trash container? We should return to the case of your mistaken identity at a later time, officer. This was about the trash container.
Так, ладно, отдай нам
What
ключ.
for? Mazov? Are you planning to nationalize my trash container?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
Все, пошел нахуй, мы пойдем воровать твой мусор. Ничего не знаю. Нам нужен мусор на благо, блядь, не знаю, Ревашоля.
This trash container with a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Ну, блядь.
Just a feeling. A warning from some part of you.
Погнали.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
Классно.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Так, погнали.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers. You're used to this. No, searching for evidence in the trash.
Бля, был бы Рафлан, если бы он по помойкам рылся, да. Как жалко, что он мент. Не, ну как бы я бы мог в самом начале просто самовыпилиться там, блядь, при помощи включения света, ну камон. Это же даже по факту не прохождение. Или в плане вообще пройти, в смысле, с полным расследованием смерти этого черта, который висит, так сказать, отвисает.
A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. And turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
Yeah.
Victim's clothes? Cadaver in odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when you drop them in here, officer. Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye.
Давай, давай, давай.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Так, я надеюсь продолжить копаться в мусоре.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container. It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasion... What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
Так.
Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes. Written in a man's handwriting.
Так, ща, на секунду, я тут очень занят чтением важного сюжетного говна. Так, чё там? Чё за вопрос? Ну вот только в Skyrim и Барду разве что. Это вот как раз те стримы, которые у меня и были. Типа... Чё? Я прошел Киберпанк, потом, по-моему, просто не на стрим бегал, концовки выдрачивал, там, ачивки, все дела. Потом обновился комп и решил Барду застримить. И все. И больше стримов до Диска Элизиума не было пока что.
Officer, is that your paperwork? It is. Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? What are you talking about? Doeth thou also thorough inventories? You should take stock of your notes. Make sure it's all there. Official notes contain informants' names. If some of it has fallen into the hands of the RCM's adversaries, bloodletting may well ensue.
Ура! Наконец-то! Да, устроим жизнь. Блять, бунт. Не, ладно.
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
Бля, по факту.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
Так. Окей, все, мы
That's one
уходим.
thing off the list.
Все, хватит. Так. Где? Предметы взаимодействовать. О, да. Охуенный журнал. Красота какая. Так. Стопэ. А, вот взаимодействовать.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue It's a metaphor for you. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
Оставить.
If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it's not though. It's toilet paper.
Ну ладно.
Still wet, the toilet paper, I mean kitchen tissue, sorry, peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off your finger and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better.
Так, я боюсь, что он пробьется после того, как я понюхаю, так что нет.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
О, спасибо. Заебался вытянуть мышку так далеко. Блять, сука, опять читать буквы. Я в целую игру играю про то, чтобы читать буквы. Так. Бля, ну... Во-первых, Switch это такое себе удовольствие. В плане, как вообще... Что там он, игровой консоль у себя считает или что? Типа, ну да, это как с PS-кой было, что у Switch'а есть свои эксклюзивы, вся херня, но... то, что у него там... Сколько у него эксклюзивов? У него Зельда и чё? Чё еще на Switch'е эксклюзивного есть? Вроде все. Ну, может, Марио какой-нибудь. Ну, там, блядь, может быть, Crash Bandicoot, и то не факт. Но... Блядь, это надо думать, сука, я проснулся час назад. Бля. Сейчас. Вот, в общем... В принципе, ценники на Switch это такая же херня, как и ценники на PS-ку, потому что на PS-ке, блядь, все игры стоят примерно же столько, сколько и на Switch'е. Да. В плане того, что... Чё там, блядь, вопрос про игры? Блядь, ну интересных проектов мало, потому что сейчас большинство компаний там вообще, как юбики, обанкротятся. Там еще у Blizzard'ов вроде проблемы с папками. Половина компаний тупо не может, блин, функционировать нормально, поддерживать старые проекты, разрабатывать новые, финансов, блин, не хватает. Ну, это я так, субъективизм свой высказываю. Чё еще? Ну и большинство игр делается не для простых геймеров, а для... Как они там правильно называются? Ну, блядь, феминистские негры, блядь, дети. Всякое вот такое говно. Феминистки, негры, кто там, блядь, еще, инвалиды, блядь. Вот эта вся херня. Транс-женщины. То есть в основном поэтому в игровой индустрии нет нормальной продукции. Ай, блядь, хоть бы не посадили за такое. Хотя, что я сказал? Да, я не пропагандировал нетрадиционные сексуальные отношения, так что не посадят, идите нахуй. Так. Бля, а меня вообще слышно? Я типа, блядь, тут тираду пищу просто. Бля, а меня вообще... Да, все. Ебать, он орёт. Так, сука, блядь, подождите. Ща. Так. ОБС. По-моему, это в фильтрах делалось. Да, усиление. Чутка потише. О, вот так нормально. Так. Негры, дети, инвалиды, всякое говно, короче. Цитаты великих. Когда-нибудь я заведу свой цитатник. Эх, когда-нибудь. Так, ладно. Так.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. Looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside the right circumstances.
Ну да, ты говорил, что, по-моему, во время Киберпанка как раз, что у тебя, блядь, траблы с обновлением. Или во время Скайрима. Интересный вопрос, интересный.
It is similar to the RCM watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned. Didn't he say something about the headlights of his motor carriage? That you can read these there?
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. Yes, RCM vehicles have had lights tuned especially to reveal halogen watermarks.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand. It's a sorry sight.
За шо? Может, я в инвентарь залезу, твари? Так, ладно, давайте планшет.
It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back you see the embossed letters, RCM.
Встряхнуть журнал, смотреть остальное. Давай встряхнем.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment?
Блять, Клаудмен мудак.
And something small inside, light, made of paper or cardboard, or dried flowers perhaps.
Санитары, подземелье, этой роте. Бля, звучит хайпово. Я бы взглянул. Так.
Permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials that would get damaged if something happened to it. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center. With your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board.
Блять. Во, заебись. Так. Нет, сюда. Во. Да блять! Ну что ж, попробуем.
Is not what you end up doing. You squeeze the plastic to slide it open, but nothing happens. Then you bend it some. The ledger quivers in your hand. As it shakes, the pages rustle. This pathetic mess suddenly afraid of you for some reason.
Сука, бля. Просто твое ебало, как ты напугал пластик. Такой просто жизнерадостный пиздец.
The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience.
Это база,
This
да.
base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner. You know, like the bits they put into public piss bowls, probably called Fermi Discrete, or Axel, or something. At some point in its journey, the ledger has seen the inside of a public toilet.
У меня где-то был видос, я, бля, не помню сейчас. По одну минуту. Ща. Творческая студия. Это вот предновогодний, по-моему, да, вот новогодний видос, на котором у меня охерительная превьюшка. Но это вот предпоследний видос, который перед дестрендингом. Вот. И в нем я вроде даже показывал, что я предзаказываю эту хуету про коммунизм. Так что да, буду. Ну, планирую как бы, блядь, типа. Ну, хер знает. Может быть, не в день релиза, как бы, но, скорее всего, я буду ее стримить. Так.
Remember when I said the smell of the upstairs bathroom was so rank they should have sent a poet to describe it? Why, yes it is. Among many other things. This cleaning tablet is used by the whirling in rags. Perhaps that's where the ledger was dropped in the toilet. By you.
Так, желтые или белые? Желтые или белые? Белые. А, бля, у меня... Я, кстати, только сейчас заметил, что половину текста тут на стриме вот эта полоска ебучая перекрывает. Сейчас, секундочку. Так. Куда бы, бля, ее перетянуть-то? Не то. О, то, что надо. Так. Ты, короче, тут зависнешь. Вот так. Ты тоже иди сюда. В принципе, чего бы нет. Тут вроде ничего особо не происходит. Все, вот так-то лучше. Вообще четко. Так, ну давайте белые.
They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered with faint red lines, forming short paragraphs.
Бля, честно, хз, я уже не помню. Я это ставил еще... Когда? По-моему, это, типа, прямо на стриме у меня встроено. Запускает рулетку, и там какое-то действие ебаное. Типа, не знаю, станцевать четку или прибухнуть. Ну, что-то из ряда вон. принципе, я сейчас на Donation Alert забегу. Тринк. 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 Так, бла-бла-бла-бла-бла. О, рулетка. Так, что такое рулетка? Ну да, это такая себе рулетка, конечно. Это больше какой-то, я не знаю, слот-машина. Хуй знает. Ну, как кейсы открывать, короче, такая рулетка. И тут прокручиваются всякие действия, да. Я вообще не помню, что там. А, ну, в карточке, да, дефолтная стоит всякая херь, понятно. Бля, я хз, кстати. Не встраивал или нет саму рулетку-то? Не, ну, типа, я явно что-то встраивал, как бы, ну, хуй знает, что. Так, может быть, вот она. Не знаю. Я пойду, пока не кинули, я пойду заберу ее с этого, с Donation Alerts. Просить прокрутить. Так, все. Теперь ОБС, иди сюда. Угу. Все заебись. Я поставил еще одно. Не знаю, то это или не то. Но сейчас узнаем. О, все нормально. Продолжаем. Сука, блядь! Так, у меня... Чё оно выдало? Что оно выдало, блядь? Сука! Я не вижу, блядь, что оно выдало, сука! Так, назад. Сейчас. У меня качество стрима на ютубе говно. Чего, блядь? Типа, оно сработало, но что сделать, я не понял. Типа, там написано сделать... а что сделать, я не вкурил. Сделать сервер. Сервер? Что за сервер? И че, ебанутый? Какой нахуй сервер? Типа, у меня есть канал в Дискорде, идите туда. Какого хуя? Типа, там на... Бля, какой я басбуснутый, сука. Так, надо потише, ща, тихо. Свойства... Фак, фильтры. Усиление. Еще потише себя сделаю, на 13 поставлю. Вот так нормально. Ну, наверное, я хуй знает, ненормально, может. Какого хуя? Все, тихо, заткнись. Дикпик, бля, скину, сука, в директ.
Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate, due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases. What do you mean? Is that all?
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes.
Окей.
2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. That's okay. We all do, sooner or later.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable. Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article, it's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
Сука, сложно, блядь. Так, я пойду вырежу это нахуй. Где этот ебучий? Подожди, щит. Дизайн категории. Так, вот. О. Пошел нахуй отсюда, блядь. Так. Типа, я когда в первый раз встраивал, я вообще особо не вчитывался, и поэтому там было куча всякого говна. Это на камеру. Бля, пока пускай так лежит без сервера. Ну, я, конечно, потом разберусь, что, зачем и почему. Возможно, даже сделаю. Надо просто заменить эту херню потом, чтобы не ебаться с этим.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Ебать копать.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete. Sadly, the ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of the ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It will do, barely. But
Карандаш или ручка? Карандаш или ручка? Блять, ручка.
the lieutenant looks at his blue notebook. 2 fat, shiny pens hang from the binder. He is not really saying anything, just standing there, looking at them.
Know that I give this to you with resentment.
The tasks you've completed flow out of the blue oblong pen in a brash freehand uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you're a swashbuckler with that pen, Harry.
Yeah,
and
классно.
it feels good. Feels like completion. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
No, actually. Any ideas?
Тема, блядь. Сука, как много вопросов. Так мало ответов.
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good... I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Так, да все?
The notebook is annual. It says 51 on what remains of its cover. A molten strap of cardboard. Everything prior to this must have belonged to a previous volume. In short, there was more.
Ну, было
You
и
don't
было.
exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
Логика. Мы не можем вскрыть тайник, сука. Твари. Ладно.
Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41, then date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 4. Why, yes, your precinct number is 41. Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials. Yeah, no. It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start? It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall, her mouth agape. That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole. Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? One day you may still catch the man with the square gun.
С квадратным пистолетом. Yeah. Парам-парам-парам-парам-парам-парам.
Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked insufferable dicks. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn soap. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it to where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, and drank cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you.
Yeah.
No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. Murder. Tum-tum-tum at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead. Of circumstances beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor.
Ну и ладно, ну и хорошо.
Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve. Was doing it solo. Said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister. Was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory, as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. Tough case, he said. Toughest he's ever had. No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, He'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into... Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. No, it's soot and water vapor. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, so anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there, only client that day. In perfect health too. Some kind of... No one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing. Just sucking on the hookah until 15:45. Then bam. Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin. Movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Table's low, heavy, really sharp. See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom. Yeah, he liked his hookah. Stephen, smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was murder at the hookah parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed, piecing it together. Next. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Просмотреть, знакомиться с материалами, желтый.
In the back, you see thin, translucent copy paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out. According to 3, the topmost are misconduct fines, the middle ones are station calls, and the bottommost are field autopsy forms. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work. These are quite sinister in turn. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are all in a print so small it could be considered downright cute. A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real.
Ни хера себе.
Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields. But they appear pleasantly vague. A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs. Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsy. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse.
Ну его нахер этот журнал. Так, предметы. У нас теперь есть ручка. Так. А во что там надо было вложиться?
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer.
Чё такое, блядь, техника? А сколько их у меня? Так, отлично.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeable just relaxed. The
Yes!
two sides of the board are slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off the slides. All you need to do is bend the plastic on your knee, slowly. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just, you know.
Пиздец, у него биполярочка резкая.
Without resistance or sound, the two panels move 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Все нахер будет.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Да.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored.
Фу, блядь, абрикосовый.
A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti. Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters. In a young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile. You think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy.
Так.
Your hand shakes, holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
Вот сейчас я, блядь, и найду, где этот пидор живет.
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will all kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear.
Так, блядь.
You feel the ledger slip from your hand.
Сука.
No. Hold on. To what? There's nothing.
Охуенно, спасибо, блядь.
Detective, is everything all right?
Еблысь. Excuse me.
There is nothing. Again. Nothing sad, brother. No treachery. Just blackout. Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you. That's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering. Somewhere in the... That's me. Blue eyes, that's me. Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great soul. Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it, because it's always there.
Ай, блядь.
Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause. Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape. Its lack of beauty was not the problem.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils.
Yes, they're pouring something on you.
It's delicious.
Снова бухаем.
Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness. In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket, the air is thick with leatherwork.
Drink. Water.
Бля, мы не бухаем.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself, as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat.
What happened?
Я нахер влезь.
That does sometimes happen.
He replies with such understanding, it's as if the burnt-out ruins of the past were an occupational hazard. Athlete's foot for cops.
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed? Good.
The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interactable and a tool equipped in your held slot for skill bonuses. Find it under the Tools tab in your inventory.
Окей. Так, во-первых, у него над башкой что-то вертится. Что ты там, блядь, придумал?
Lonesome, long way home.
Yes! Я был прав.
Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
Бля, одинокая дорога — это вообще классно. Негативных эффектов вообще практически нет. Журнал неудачи, ненависти. Блядь. Так, электрохимия, техника. Так, ладно, давайте журналом, блядь,
It's the
займемся.
ledger you found in the trash. Without resistance or sound, the two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there, too. It's slightly, ever so slightly, difficult to breathe once you've done so. The drawer is locked. Blue.
Нахуй это говно. Мы отсюда, блядь, уходим. Так. Блядь, Гарри, который скрывает боль, сука.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite.
Где она вообще, вот это вот? Вот она. Понятно. Так, ладно, раз нельзя, значит по съебатору. Почему мы до сих пор его не можем снять, блядь?
There he still is, looking
Ух,
right
бля!
at you with his white eyes. The body below. Ha ha ha.
Сука.
Again, the corpse laughs at you, pus dripping from its mouth. You will never be able to hold it in. It's every time it happens, it gets
Да,
worse and
блядь.
worse. There's nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time. The lieutenant is clearly at a loss.
Officer, you just need to be stronger. Learn to keep it in long enough for us to work. There's nothing else to do.
You can open this white check again by going to your character sheet and spending a skill point to upgrade your endurance. Gain new skill points by exploring and completing side tasks.
Maybe it's okay if you don't make it today. The dead man isn't going anywhere. And there's always...
Ну и пошел тот жмур нахуй.
There he still is.
Я сказал, пошел нахуй. Что у меня вообще по квестовым предметам? Что мусор? А, бля, точно.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the...
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice, like a leopard waking from its sleep, yawning and roaring at the same time. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the...
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of...
Красивые. Ладно, что там у нас? Да, вот.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights.
Let me see. Right here. No, it does not.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows.
Ну давай, считай, бля.
The first row has 18 dots. Not bad for what? You don't even know what it means yet. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then you count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over you, though you can't say why, precisely. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Груз.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth? Fair point. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've, wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
Чё-то, бля, подозрительно. Кажется, кто-то пиздит.
Call it what you want. You are a valuable member of your precinct. Now, let's look at the last row. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Court, there are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Yes. Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
Блять, смешно.
The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
Смешно. Бля, стоп, это постоянная статистика, сука, блядь. Годы службы 18, раскрытые 216 убийств, 3, хороший коп, плохой коп 1, моралист 1, ультралиберал 5, фашист 4, коммунист 5. Все остальное просто, блядь, от двойки, все остальное с двойками пока что. Слава богу, хоть нету копа зануды. Карта. Бля, красивая. Чё-то меня как-то это все заебало. Но задание надо чекнуть. Пожалуй, где там, блядь, сохранение? Еще раз перезапишем на всякий пожарный. Вот теперь можно и в главное меню. Где там у меня кнопка остановить стрим? Поинг? Сколько там? Еще чуть-чуть. Еще немного. Тан-тараран, тан-тан-тараран-тара.